Salute, Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing tonight at Barclays in New York. The New York Knicks took the victory, snatched it from the Brooklyn Nets late off a heroic defensive sequence late, and a huge fourth quarter from these Knicks. Julius Randle filled it up, Jalen Brunson filled it up, and the New York Knicks had too much firepower late for these New Jersey Nets to overcome. And New York City is ours, ladies and gentlemen. It was a tricky game. It was a game where the first three quarters were basically the Knicks were not playing to their capabilities, right? Defensively, it was a situation where they needed to wake up. And wake up they did late with a huge slam. You see there, Julius Randle finished it on the break. Let's talk about this win, ladies and gentlemen, as the Knicks now go 10 games over 500. We got all-star buzz coming for these guys. We'll talk about the road ahead. And of course, man, we're going to give out these grades and game balls tonight. We're buzzing at 27 and 17 on the season, the highest point of the season so far, just over the halfway mark. And the New York Knicks pulled out a gritty win, right? It wasn't pretty, but it was gritty tonight. Our heroes stepped up. Mikal Bridges showed that he is a star in this league and almost carried the Nets to a victory. Of course, the Knicks were without their centers, Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein. We'll talk about the road ahead with Jericho Sims, Precious Achiuwa. They both made plays throughout the game and of course late to help us pull this one out. But of course we need to get iHeart back and we need to get him back healthy, ladies and gents. But welcome in to the post-game live salute chat. I see you, MIG, Daniel, Will. Salute, how you feeling? Definitely not mad at all. You know, sometimes these trap games come along the road. We always felt like we're better than Brooklyn, of course, coming in. We didn't play, to our capabilities in the first three quarters, and we still were able to pull out the win. Obviously, the biggest takeaway is what I just mentioned, right? We saw in full effect how much Isaiah Hartenstein is really, a pillar of this team and a pillar of our defense. We saw our defense slide when Mitch went out, and we saw it slide tonight with iHeart out. Which made, the next guy up needed to step up. Jericho Sims got us 4 blocks in the first quarter, right? He had his ups and downs, of course, but, a guy that's basically out of the rotation coming straight in, it's a huge ask. And I thought Jericho, did a decent job, definitely made some big plays tonight. So we're going to give out his flowers and shout out him. Precious Achiuwa got the fast break finish with a nice feed from Juju Randle in that fourth quarter that had the Barclays Center crowd going crazy. And we're going to obviously give out Julius's shine for his play late. He needed to erupt, and wake up because, we were staring at defeat, in this one. But, the New York Knicks role players stepped up. You see there OG Anunoby with play after play after play tonight. Arguably, the player of the game in terms of just hustle plays. TNT legit showed like a 1-minute clip of just all the hustle, deflections, blocks, steals, and charges and all of that, and drawing fouls. OG was the quintessential glue role player for us tonight. I like Josh Hart's efforts as well late. Obviously, offensively, he didn't click. He turned it over a little bit in the first half as well. But Josh Hart's key rebounds late and a key contest on a 2v1, a 3v1 on a fast break, man. Josh Hart stepped up for us, in a major way until the cavalry arrived, and OG was able to get back into the play, and get that critical block on Cam Johnson. But of course, the hero Jalen Brunson woke up in the fourth as well. He let everyone know that this is my city, and there ain't no way I'm losing this one. He pulled up for a huge three-pointer, which gave the Knicks the lead. Couldn't hear anything out there. TNT did an awful job and we'll talk about it later in the show. Couldn't hear the whistle, couldn't even hear, the announcers didn't even know if there was going to be a timeout or not. Jacques Vaughan was dancing all over the sidelines. It was just weird late. I thought there was a timeout when Brunson hit the three to put the Knicks up one, but no, Brooklyn inbounded the ball. Everyone seemed confused, but what matters the most is that the Brooklyn Nets looked confused late, right? They absolutely capitulated in that fourth. They took a 9-point lead at the end of the third into the fourth. Mikal Bridges off a huge third quarter with the three ball. The Nets scored 36 points, and the Knicks were staring at defeat, right? We needed to come out and blitz them in the fourth, and we played with pace. Julius Randle pushed the ball up the court, got a couple of nice fast break finishes. The Knicks, did get fouled as well. Could have got a couple more free throws on some of those plays. But the Knicks were the most aggressors tonight. We got to the line more times than... we got to the line more times than the Brooklyn Nets. So that was key, right? So big task. Nick Pride, I see you. Fam, what's good in the chat? Nick's Buzz, right? Replay squad, smash that like button, shout out. Before we dive into the grades and give out the game balls and look at the road ahead, coming into tonight, right? The New York Knicks have the #1 record in the NBA in year 2024, and we continue that ride, fam. We're riding the wave. Now we are 10-2, the hottest team in the NBA this season, #1 in the standings, right? We are second in net rating. With the Cleveland Cavaliers with 2 games to play. So we could, theoretically, be #1 in net rating as well in the league. Same with defensive rating. We're second with the Cleveland Cavaliers first, but they have 2 more games to play. We've moved up in pace to 21st in pace, still first in rebound percentage, first in opponents' points per game. Tonight we held the Nets to 103. You love it, right? But of course, everyone knows the story with the turnovers, fam. We're 30th since the OG trade. So that's a major issue we got to address, and I will talk about it tonight, fam. I'm still buzzing off this huge win comeback, but the New York Knicks are dead last in the league in turnovers since the OG trade. And Tom Thibodeau is going to be, talking about that, and I will be rectifying it. Best believe that. But man, things go from good to great. Now only 2 losses. We are 19-0 against teams below 500. So you love to see that, right? And tonight's action, man, huge performance. 30-piece from Jew, 30-piece from Brunson, and a huge effort for OG with his +11, right? In a 5-point win, he was +11. In his 33 minutes, needed a breather late. I wasn't sure if Tibbs was going to get OG back in the game, but he got him back in the nick of time with 2 minutes to play. Such was the good minutes that Grimes was giving us and Hart as well. So we're going to shout out them. DiVincenzo shot 3 of 8 from deep. We needed his shooting, so he stepped up for us as well. Miles McBride hit a couple of key threes. He was 2 of 3. Miles was efficient tonight in his 12 minutes. Finished with 8 points as well. I liked what Grimes gave us as well. And like I said, our second and third and fourth string big men really stepped up in a ways to give us enough to take this one, fam. So that was absolutely key that we got some effort from Precious Achiuwa on the offensive end. But Randall's assisting, was able to find some of those guys as well. Brunson was going to work late, right? Once Brunson hit that 3 to give the New York Knicks the lead, I thought, right, the Knicks aren't losing this one, right? So let's look at the stats. 8 steals, colossal effort. Defensively, we'll shout out individuals. But 13 turnovers, much better in the second half, no doubt about it. Field goal percentage almost at 50%. We shot almost 35% from deep. So just pipped Brooklyn in that regard. But the rebounds, we won the battle late, of course, 53 to 48. To some key stops on the defensive side was the hallmark of this win. Josh Hart, once again, OG, and Julius Randle battling in the paint. He drew a loose ball foul as well. And he had what was going to be a critical turnover, but the Knicks buckled down, right, and got those stops. So our two all-stars to be, I say that because I think they'll both get in 30 piece each, right? So salute everyone out here worldwide. We're buzzing, and 10 games over, salute. And like I said, there's going to be trap games throughout the season. Hopefully they learn from this. Got to take care of the ball better. Got to get better shots. The first half, it was a bit too isolation heavy. But when the game opened up, right, when they sat Mikal Bridges, I thought we took advantage of those minutes late as well. But of course, we have more talent than Brooklyn, so we should be, overcoming them. It was just frustrating right early. Will Dripmore, Michael Drake, Jack's in the building, MIG, Daniel, salute. Jack City with the super chat. Jack says, who gon' run this town tonight? Let's continue to beat the Brooklyn Clippers for 4 more years. Fam. Yet New Jersey Nets. Yet Will Salkin says we broke the New Jersey Nets. Wouldn't it be funny if we were to steal Mikal Bridges one day? I tell you what, man. Mikal Bridges, you got to tip your cap to him because he made it a nightmare tonight. This was not easy too. But yeah, appreciate you once again, Jack City, for the super chat. Once again, who gonna run this town tonight? It's the New York Knicks all day and every day, fam. Michael Drake says, hey, nice win. Salute, salute. We own this town. Yep. Look, we're figuring out ways to obviously execute. This was a game where the length of Brooklyn, defensively did, prevent us from getting into the paint offensively unless we were running the ball down the court, right? Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitch, they eat up a lot of space down low and they take attention from the defense with the lob threat. Now, we did find Jericho Sims a couple of times on the lob threat, but nowhere near. He doesn't have the presence of an iHeart or a Mitch, right? But he stepped up with 4 blocks in the first quarter, right? And we'll shout out Sims when we give out these grades right now. And the first man up, ladies and gentlemen, is Juju Randle with the game ball and the gold star, right? I voted all day on the final day, and let's hope he gets in, right? But before we dive into the first grade, you know the drill. Smash that like button. I'm glad you can join us, and I really appreciate your support with the channel. Let us know if you have any questions, comment sections, and live chat popping right now. And without further ado, right, the guy who stepped up late in the fourth quarter, Mr. Juju Randle, he's been here the longest in New York City out of all these guys on either team playing tonight. And Julius Randle, you could feel it. I felt late when he was aggressive that he said, man, not only is he going against one of his nemesis in Cam Johnson, but he's like, to hell with this Nova Gang stuff with Mikal Bridges and all of that. It was a Nova Gang affair. And Julius was the bull in the china shop tonight to help stem the flow. And 10 out of 19, right, really efficient. 2 big 3 balls from Juju Randle. They were key, right? Ain't gonna lie. As I pull up Ju's looks tonight, look at those 2 threes. They were critical. He stepped into it one in the fourth, and Juju was aggressive then getting to the paint. Nothing else tonight, right? It was his 2 key threes, and it was living in the restricted area late with a couple of really key rebounds as well. Yeah, and he's obviously hunting his 3rd All-Star berth, Ju knows that this was a TNT game, right? He wasn't playing, and he knew how important it was, right? And the storylines that would have came out of tonight's game had the New York Knicks lost this one, right? It would have been a really bad loss. But on the flip side, right, in the reality world, the New York Knicks prevailed, and the Brooklyn Nets failed. Right, our two All Stars stepped up, and I hope they get in. I think Jew will get in either by a huge surge in the voting, or he'll get in by coaches, and we wait to see what happens with Brunny, right? But with that note, like I said, 2 of 2 from deep was the key stat for me. I mean, Randall's been shooting volume from 3 recently, but only 2 tonight came up trumps. Really calculated from the line as well. 8 of 8, 9 boards and 7 assists. Right, almost the triple dub, back-to-back games. Right, that would have been crazy for back-to-back games from Jew with a triple dub, but just short. 1 rebound and 2 assists short. Right, but the 30 piece was absolutely needed. Julius wasn't too bad with the turnovers tonight. 4. One of them was late. Would have been 3 otherwise, but you take it because he was trying to be aggressive. They were really packing the paint with their wings and their length, and Julius and probably Tibbs was preaching. Get the ball up the court real quick, right? Score on them in a hurry, and that's what Randall did. Once we got the outlet, the rebound, Randall was running the break, right? And obviously the assists too. 7 assists, right? We don't gloss over that, man. One of them was to Sims, Achiwa as well. And those were key. Salute to those guys for running the floor as well with Juju and converting as well. The Knicks didn't really shoot that well tonight. 34%, 34.5 from deep. Devo was 3 of 8. He was solid, but yeah, Jalen was 2 of 7. But yeah, Randall really could have got 10 assists tonight. I love his floor game. Quiet in the second and third, but had a decent first quarter. 13 points at the half. Brunson had 18 at the half, but we couldn't get stops. Right, Randall was obviously forced to play a little bit out of position. We had to play a little bit small, and he took the challenge. Right, we missed some assignments. Rotating. Randall was a little slow rotating in the first half, but offensively, yeah, he helped win us the game, right? So you absolutely, you take the good and the bad, and he stepped up in a major way. Nick Yak says on that note, yeah, how great was Randall? Gold star, second game ball in a row, and flirting with a triple dub. Like Buzzer Beater says, smash that like button for Juju Randall. These New York Knicks 10 games over, baby. We ain't ducking. And we'll talk about the standings as well, as we're starting to play our best ball in the second half of the year. We have OG. We've got the trade rumors to discuss. Quentin Grimes is central to the discussions right now. I thought Grimes stepped up in a big way, right? But Randall and Brunson have really stepped up, in these last 2 games, to help us win, 2 tricky games where, being realistic, we didn't have it for most of the night, but we did enough late, right? So heady plays from Randall, appreciate the assists, continues to dominate the glass in the absence of Mitch and Ihart down tonight. I thought Randall, like I said, drawing that loose ball foul was critical as well. So Randall was giving maximum effort tonight. We saw it. He was motivated. He was, he wanted to snatch this one, right? So with that said, despite the some of the ups and downs with Randall's grade, we're going with an A+ performance, almost a triple double. Was the difference. He was the difference right at the end. There's no doubt about it. Ball game, Knicks and game ball, Juju Randall. Salute with his gold star as well. I see you chat. Buzzer says A+. for Randall. Yep, I agree. Lawrence in the building. It's the New York Knicks thing, baby. Yep, I'm feeling that. Joe Long, New York just riding that wave. Yeah, we continue to ride. And I think the wave's going to continue to grow, man. We got Denver coming up. Guess who was the only team in the NBA last year to sweep the Denver Nuggets? None other than the New York Knicks, right? And I think we can do it again, fam. Man, how good was OG Anunoby's hustle plays late, right? We're going to get to him in a minute, right? We might skip Brunson and we might go to OG, and then we'll go to the captain coming up, guys. But once again, I'll bring up Randall's chart. We'll have a quick look at that once again. 2 of 2 from deep, and his play in transition, and his presence in the paint was the difference for Juju and the Knicks tonight, right? They went small, but Randall's size on Nick Claxton, he's got too much muscle for him. But yeah, you take the 7 assists and you love it too. So it really impressed with the fourth quarter. The pressure was growing. It was obviously tighter than we would have liked, but we pulled out the victory, baby. We're 10 games over right now, and we're all buzzing. So next man up is OG Anunoby, the second starter for tonight. And our OG, right, as we pull up his numbers, and we look at OG, he was 33 minutes tonight, so Tibbs did try to get him a little bit of a rest. 3 of 8 from the field, 38%, and 0 of 1 from deep, so only attempted 1 shot. I thought he was a little passive, but he also found the pass at the right time. One of those was a key dish, a dime to Deuce McBride, right, which opened it up late. That was a huge play. I thought OG was well within his right to put up that shot, and that was also one of the key plays of the game for me tonight, when OG had a look in the corner, but he waited for the defense to kind of close out, and then he found a wide open Deuce McBride head on. That was his 1 assist. But obviously, the numbers say, man, 4 steals stands out, 2 blocks, first team all defense, right there, man. 4 steals and 2 blocks, man, with a +11 in a 5-point win, with 5 boards, 3 turnovers and 2 fouls. So he played amazing defense tonight, switching all over the place. He continues to fight over screens as well. I appreciate guys like Deuce McBride and OG and Quentin Grimes, Hart, Brunson. Those guys fought over screens. NYC Ball 08 is in the building with the super chat. Says Sup CT chat, the Knicks are buzzing right now. We feeling that, fam. Appreciate you. No doubt you got the streets buzzing tonight. Big win. We own New York City. We own this town. Brooklyn can get out of town, fam. I don't know their direction, but they're asking for 5 first-round picks for Mikal. Then they're trying to build around Mikal. They're all over the place right now. Also, another guy who's all over the place is OG Anunoby, man. I said this almost after every show, but OG was 100% from the line tonight. That deserves another shout out, a salute, right? He was a 72% free throw shooter coming in. He hasn't missed since being a Knick. 4 of 4 tonight, 100% from the line. Those were key free throws as well, right? So his free throw percentage is way up, and no doubt he's been putting in the work. Talk about OG's ability to play small ball, down iHeart, down Mitch. We need a guy like OG who can switch and who can be on, basically guard everybody. I mean, he was guarding Claxton, he was switching on to DSJ, onto Cam Thomas, and then onto Mikal. He's really mastered the closeout. He's a guy who really does it well without fouling. So that's another thing I appreciate with OG, right? Obviously a huge wingspan. He gets into that passing lane as well. Um, and no coincidence, him and Precious tonight, who was a plus 13, OG was a plus 11, and he's 10 points, right? Uh, and you guys know, man, yesterday was a crazy day in the league, right? 70 point from Embiid, 62 points from Cat. This league is always about highlights, scoring, but the defense, is a lost art. No one really appreciates that as much as they used to, right? And with OG, casuals might look at, 10 points, man. OG, he ain't quickly, he ain't RJ Barrett, 10 points. But, you know, what, what is in the box score with his steals and his blocks, and then what isn't on the box score as well, that makes up for 30 points, right? This is a guy who's guarding every single possession, right? The Knicks could have given up 125 tonight without OG out there, without his defense as well. As Michael Drake alludes to, right, we need to give OG a gold star as well, because it was a signature all defensive type performance, right? Signature all defensive game from OG. Passing lanes, 4 steals, 2 blocks, no play bigger than that late block on Cam Thomas. I mean, he was literally right under the bucket, right? It was a simple layup, a tap in, a mulligan, a gimme, and Cam Thomas got the crap blocked out of him by OG, and then he also had another huge swat on Cam Thomas as well, right? Cam Thomas going to be seeing OG in his nightmares. Now with his grade, I've got to give OG also some huge love and an A for his performance. Defensive stopper, badge, activated, gold star defensive team, activated, fam. And we'll continue to shout him out, and we'll move on to Brunson in a minute. But I've got OG's looks tonight as well. So what do we have here? Let me bring up OG's looks. Yep, here we go. Once again, only 1 3-point attempt. However, he was living in the paint like he usually does, and that's what I love about OG's offensive game. Right? He doesn't mess around with those, contested late deep twos. It's either a 3, corner 3, open 3, or he drives. He was aggressive. He turns the corner really well, and he also had a couple nice dribble drive finishes over the smaller man as well. So great night from OG, and we continue to talk about his impact too on the season so far. Right, as we pull up the pre-OG stats just quickly, we're now obviously 10-2. This was before tonight. Since the trade, we're the number 1 team in the NBA in 2024, 10-2, third in opponents' 3-point percentage. Tonight we kept the Nets down late. Second in opponents' points, in opponents' field goal. First in opponents' points as well. We've got to take care of these turnovers though, right? So that's what we look to next. But yeah, perfect complementary piece, and we continue to talk about the roster as the Knicks and Leon Rose aren't finished yet, right? We're building this thing like a masterpiece, right? And the guy who completes it is Jalen Brunson, right? Soon to be first-time All-Star, right? We heard Brian Windhorst on ESPN and Tim Bontemps on ESPN on the latest Hoop Collective pod. They put Jalen Brunson as their East starter. So shout out. I've got to give respect to them. They see it. They appreciate what Brunson's done for the Knicks this year, helping a team, battle for the fourth seed, um, above the likes of a Trae Young, more consistent than Damian Lillard, uh, higher in the standings than Tyrese, um, and soon to take over the Cleveland Cavs. Right, Brunson was takeover mode badge in the fourth, 11 of 22, 2 of 7 from deep though, 6 of 7 from the line. He got us 4 assists, 3 boards, and 30 points and a +7. Right, so gold star and a second game ball for JB tonight, making huge plays in the fourth. It was a struggle in the first half. Even though Brunson had 18 points, they did not come easy, right? So as we see the Empire State lit up in orange and blue skies, baby, salute. The city, will never be a Brooklyn team, never be a Brooklyn town, and damn sure as long as Jalen Brunson's here as well. He is the star of the city, along with the rest of the Knicks, and an all-star signature performance tonight. He woke up. He wasn't going to let his old buddy, current buddy, Mikal Bridges, steal the headlines. Again, Brunson was, in takeover mode. He's one of the most clutch players. Is he more clutch than a Steph, than a Dame? He's building a resume. I'll say that, right? I'm not gonna steal no shine from those Hall of Famers, soon to be Hall of Famers, especially Steph Curry, who's won championships. But in the case of a Damian Lillard, I think Brunson is on track to at least match the heights of Lillard's career. He's only 27. If we get this kind of Jalen Brunson for the next 6-7 years, man, there's no doubt about it, no debate. His jersey will be in the rafters, ladies and gents. But of course, we're building something for the playoffs. Bigger fish to fry tonight. But he fried the Brooklyn Nets in that fourth quarter, man. It was takeover mode, right? We'll talk about the Bucks firing their coach too, right? Maybe the Knicks got the East shook. The OG move. We got picks. We got moves coming down the pipe, right? Buzzer Beater says the Nets should consider moving to Brooklyn, Texas. Anywhere, man. Just get out of town, right? It ain't even like they're here, really. They got cheaper seats, a nice arena, but no atmosphere when there's no Knicks fans in there, right? The best thing that's ever happened to them is the guy we saw tonight, and that is Mikal Bridges. And the funny thing is, they traded Kevin Durant to get Mikal Bridges, right? The failures of Deron Williams, KG, Pierce, Garnett, Ray Allen, the failures of Ben Simmons, right? The corpse of James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and KD, and the list goes on, man. The best thing that's ever happened to Brooklyn is Mikal Bridges, right? Because he's young. He's a good guy. He wants to be there by the looks of it. It's sustainable. And they've got to get him some help. But, tonight the Knicks turned the water off late, and they were shook, right? Once we took the lead, the crowd just took over. So with JB's game, right, we ain't need to beat around the bush anymore with his grade. Another A+ performance for the win. Him and Randall got it done, right? That's what stars do. That's what all stars should do, is take over in the fourth, right? Even guys like Steph, Lillard, like I mentioned, they have some poor starts to games, second, third quarters. But when you arrive, when it's money time, that's what gets you into the Hall of Fame. That's what gets your jersey in the rafters. That's what gets you trophies and all-star accolades too. Mikal Bridges, he's growing, but he couldn't get it done, right? Our guys got it done. So we continue buzzing after a huge win, thrilling comeback as the Knicks build on the season 27 and 17, right? We hit on the big ragu. Next, first twin number one, good Dante. And he was activated from three tonight, swishing some key threes deep. And Devo was again filling the stat sheet with 5 boards, one of them offensive, 11 points, but he had 3 turnovers. So your Devo was a little careless tonight. It was attributed to the first 3 quarters and the Nets D. The Nets length. They were playing good D. They were switching well, and we couldn't really get on the same page. But I thought DiVincenzo spaced the floor well, and Randall found him on a couple of looks. He hit 3 of 8, 38% from deep, and those were key. Right, talk about a team that shot 35% tonight. We really needed DiVincenzo's production. 11 points, but his 5 boards was key as well, and he's a steal as well. Got to cut down on those turnovers. But when you play free, you play fast, you play with confidence, turnovers are going to come. And that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit later when the Knicks, now are 30th in the league. But I think since getting OG, we're playing more free. We're swinging the ball more as well, more daring passes and all of that, etc. But, guys like Devo are going to benefit from moving the ball, swinging it around. And that's what he did tonight. He'll get a B for a bonus tonight for Devo. His production, 4 of 10 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3. He was lost on a couple of switches as well. They were running good actions tonight. When you're not really a star-centric team like Brooklyn, and you got multiple guys that can shoot well and score, like Walker, Cam Thomas, Mikal, Cam Johnson, Bridges, of course. It's hard to key in on one specific guy, and they were running some good action. Guys needed to fight over screens, but we did get lost on the switches quite a bit tonight. That was lost on everybody. But we turned the water off in the fourth. So another good performance shooting from Devo, and let's keep it moving, right? Looks like, we either get a huge starting shooting guard upgrade or a huge bench upgrade. But DiVincenzo is going to figure to be pivotal for the rest of the season. Defensively, skying for rebounds as well. He's a great off-ball player, and another perfect piece alongside JB and Randall. As Will says, his take on the Nets, they squandered riches like no other. They say the fish rots at the head. For as much as the Knicks get stick, Dolan in the news, the heavy jersey that the New York Knicks come with, no one's really wanted to stick around in Brooklyn, right? They talk about there being no pressure there. They're waiting for a star to stay and elevate. Sean Marks and the former guy, bad decisions after bad decisions, man. We saw Ben Simmons flossing the diamond necklace. He was flossing the bling on the bench, man, while he's making a cool 40 milli to wear street clothes. Yep. At Devo, and then we're going to hit on Jericho now to complete the starting 5. Jericho Sims, man, what a story. We'll give some flowers to Sims, because a guy who's gone from out of the rotation to playing now, Tibbs has an obsession with that. I've heard, fans have different takes on it. I understand, Tibbs' line of thinking. It doesn't necessarily mean it comes with much logic. I think, if you like Sims and you trust him, to be a starter, but you still continue to play Precious Achiuwa as the preferred backup, it's kind of, it's a funny take. It's a funny situation to get a read on. but Sims is a guy who maybe he feels complements Brunson and Randall. What stood out to me from Sims was his screens. Uh, he's always been one of the best guys at setting a good screen, freeing a Randall up, freeing a Brunny up, getting a DiVincenzo, free as well. He rolls to the rim hard. Obviously Skies tries to get the tap out for those rebounds, but he's also a huge body. In terms of his shoulders. He can be a presence down there in the paint. With his hops. Offensively, he ain't got the passing skills or the shot like a iHeart. But he filled in great tonight. In his minutes, 3 of 4 from the field. Got 4 boards. 2 of them were offensive. Got 4 blocks in the first quarter. Just a hot start. But he was a -8. So I think that's what Tibbs maybe feels an issue with in terms of trusting Sims more when we do have a healthy unit. But look, where the whole team was kind of in the minus with the bench lineups a lot until we won the fourth quarter, where Sims didn't play. So basically, the box score, the plus minus doesn't say it, but Sims was good tonight. In his minutes, he was solid. Again, the 4 blocks is outstanding. Protecting the paint as best as he can. He doesn't have the length that and the positioning that those more experienced guys have. But I think he stepped up in a way that we needed someone to. We're short-handed. We're down soldiers, and Jericho definitely was one of those guys that took that opportunity and he stepped up. In big minutes, 26 tonight as well. Now, Precious Achiuwa had his ups and downs as well. What do you guys think about Sims deserving to be a proper, backup big when iHeart returns? I think he did his cases no harm at all, with those blocks. I trust Jericho's hands more, finishing on the dunk more than Precious. But I think, the Knicks like Sims. I think whether a big trade shakes out, I think Sims is going to stick. He's on a cheap deal, and like tonight proved, he can step in whenever you need as well. And one of the best things I like is he sets good screens, and he rolls. He rolls hard. 4 rebounds, 2 of them offensive, were huge, right? Nick Yak says, Sims was cut into the basket. Yep, salute. Melvin in the building says Tibbs is a horrible coach. Let us know. I want to hear your thoughts in terms of what do you hate the most. We shout everyone out. I'd love to get your thoughts on, was it the rotations? Was it the Sims situation? But look, Sims, I think he's not a starting big. He's definitely a fill-in. He's still young. His decision making can let him down at times, but they have a good big in Nick Claxton. He got loose a couple times and got out on the lob. But Sims was able to help punish them on the other side. 3 or 4 is solid. Now, with that said, I'm going to give Sims. I'll give him a B. Taking everything into consideration. The task of stepping in. Basically off being out of the rotation to stepping in a big game, made some mistakes, but also held his own too. So we needed the production, and thankful that he was able to make some key plays as well. So I like some Sims action. I think he's deserving of of a look for the backup. But look, he has his limitations as well, right? He can have his, ups and downs, inconsistencies, all of those things that you get from a young guy as well. But you always evaluate a player for their role, their contract, right? We're not even paying Sims probably less than 5% of the salary cap kind of thing. He's basically a bonus, a break glass when a guy goes down. So that was the starting unit, guys. We continue buzzing. And I want to hit on Quentin Grimes now. because this is a guy who we all hear, you know, teams around the league, are discussing potential moves for a Grimes. Talk about Memphis, Houston, um, the Hawks, and the Utah Jazz. At least four of the teams quite interested in Quentin Grimes. Then we heard another report that the Knicks prefer to trade Quentin Grimes to the West Coast, which is, I take that with a grain of salt. The Knicks they'll do the best deal that they can for the best player that they can get, whether Grimes is in the deal or not. We wait and see. But Grimes stepped up tonight, just talking about the game itself. Grimes went 2 of 5, 1 of 4 from deep, got 2 assists and a rebound, and 5 points, and was a +5. So I thought Grimes' minutes were fairly solid in the bench unit. I'm not going to lie, I was kind of clutching at the at my phone when I'm watching that bench unit, because you don't know which way it's going to go. It could swing and the other team go on a 9-0 run, or it can be like jubilation when the Knicks actually get a lead with the bench unit. And I thought tonight, Grimes was part of that unit early in the fourth, I think late in the third as well, around that period where, the Knicks were able to buy some time with some rest with Brunson and Randall off the court. Miles McBride, Josh Hart, along with Precious and Grimes, I think the bench gave us production tonight. 5 points from Grimes, missed a couple threes, but was good defensively. Helped us space the floor out as well. So I really like, to see a future with Grimes here. But as we talk further about this later in the show, in the future, I think Quentin Grimes being in a trade makes, sense for the Knicks. In terms of the other team needing a quality piece, you have to give up to get. But yeah, Grimes, has had opportunities this year and hasn't taken them. But tonight was another reminder that, that there's a player in there that other teams, they see. You don't just look at box score with some players. There's, as most of us know, Grimes has skills. For whatever reason, it hasn't been unlocked this year. But there's a first round draft pick player in there. There's a guy who can play good defense. There's a guy who can put the ball on the floor some. He can shoot on his day, spaces the floor well, and he's still young. So I get it. Now I hope he doesn't land in Houston. I hope he doesn't land there. But yeah, I hope he doesn't land with the Hawks. I hope he can land in a place like Houston if he does get traded, because it's his hometown. But yeah, we'll wait to see what happens. Only weeks away. But tonight's effort, again, Grimes stepped up. In those minutes, I'll give Grimes a B. Helped those units also be productive. And he was in the plus tonight too. 5-point win, a +5 from Q Dot. Right, so yeah, keep it buzzing, chat. Let us know your grades, your questions. What do you see for the future for Quentin Grimes and this ball club? Right. Now the next guy who led the offense with the bench unit is Miles Deuce McBride. Deuce. And Deuce played well. 12 minutes. The stroke returned. 3 of 5. And 2 of 3 from deep. 66%. Talk about critical free throws, 3 balls that were big for the New York Knicks. He stepped up in a big spot. That's what I appreciate in a player that, ain't shook. In big games, Deuce, pulled a nice midi. He's got that nice rainbow pull-up shot. It goes hella high and then drops. And then the 3-point ball. The corner shot was money. He continues to shoot it well on the season. I think Stan Van Gundy, the call on TNT gave him some love. We know what Deuce is struggling with in terms of facilitating, running an offense, creating a shot. but the actual shot itself, when he is open and he's got a pull up and a catch and shoot, it's come a long way. It's at a point where Miles McBride is shooting better than Quentin Grimes is on the season. I mean, I'm assuming, I haven't looked at the numbers, but you know, the samples might be different, but Miles McBride's shooting has come a long way. And the three ball looks great. There's a real player there. The Knicks know it. They gave him a nice extension, 3 years, $3 million per, and well deserved. So, I said earlier before, I've got no issues with Deuce being the 10th man. If we get an upgrade, 11th man, he'll be there. He'll continue to be a New York Knick, I think. It makes sense to have a guy, as we move further along and we get another big piece, maybe another all-star, and our salary tax, starts to go through the roof. It helps to have a guy like Deuce McBride, who's capable of coming in, playing good D, scoring a little, giving you production, on $3 million. So with Deuce's minutes tonight, I thought he was great. Especially, again, that stretch early in the fourth where we needed a little bit more production while Brunson and Randall were out. I thought he really did his role. I'm going to give Deuce a B+. Right, hit some huge shots for the Knicks, was efficient, and 2 out of 3 from deep. Right, got a board, got 2 assists, and no turnovers as well. 1 block. We've got to shout out 1 block and 0 turnovers from Miles Deuce McBride in 12 minutes as well. So very, very valuable minutes that was able to spell Brunson and Randall a bit. Some nights it's not going to look great. We know he struggles with creating. And he's playing with other guys that aren't necessarily offensive minded as well. But it paid off tonight. Next man up, Josh Hart, 1 of 7 from the field in 28 minutes, 0 of 3 from deep. Right, that's been the story of Hart's kind of season. I think he's struggled offensively more than last year. Last year he was hitting shots at a better rate, which kind of people sort of made his felt that his role, his salary was more justified. Hart hasn't been really hitting shots this year, but what he hasn't lacked is obviously the hustle, the rebounding. 5 tonight, 1 of them offensive, 2 steals was huge, and a block. Only 1 turnover though, that was good. 1 foul, and it was a +9 in a pivotal close game. 1 play that won't show up on the box score again. 3v1 situation. Brooklyn coming down the key. It was about less than a minute to play. Knicks needed a stop, and Hart was there to contest without fouling. And then the follow-up allowed OG Anunoby to get that block on Cam Johnson as well. So that's why Tom Thibodeau loves Josh Hart. Some of the things are on the box score look good and bad, but some things aren't on the box score. And Josh Hart, gives you intangibles, deflections, steals, contests, all of that. Shout out to Josh for his performance. Salute. I'm going to give Hart also a B+ for tonight, +9 in his 28 minutes. I think Tibbs rolled the dice, keeping him on the floor with Devo off, but it paid off, man. It paid dividends as well. So we're going to give Tibbs his grade in a minute, right? But yeah, salute chat, smash that like button. The streets are buzzing tonight. The Knicks continue winning ways. This is feeling great. We're the number 1 team in the NBA since the turn of the new year. This graphic might be more difficult to see, but I'm going to pull it up. I'll blow it up in a minute. But yeah, you see the Knicks number 1 coming into tonight at 9-2 basically in the standings of 2024. Also since the OG trade. the Knicks are ahead of the Celtics, and obviously we stay on top now at 10-2 on the season. And I will I'll bring this up a little bit larger so everyone can see it a bit more. We've got the Knicks, the Celtics in second, Cleveland in third, the Clippers in fourth, or tied third. And then the Suns, the Clippers, Suns, Jazz, the Nuggets. So yeah, man, we're riding a hell of a wave. This thing's becoming a tsunami right now. How far can it go, ladies and gentlemen? There's a lot to talk about with the trade talk, and what can Leon Rose do to complete this roster heading into the playoffs. The streets are buzzing. The fan base wants a huge upgrade. They feel how close we can be, man. We had a trade. We had Kyle Lowry move over to the Charlotte Hornets for Terry Rozier and a 2027 draft pick from the Heat going to the Hornets. A lot of speculation about Kyle Lowry now. What are the Hornets going to do? Reports are they're going to look for a trade still before then eventually buying out Kyle Lowry if they cannot find a proper trade. Right? Does the Villanova gang grow, fam? Would you want a Kyle Lowry if he's bought out? Let me know, fam. But that is a huge possibility, right? He's a Tibbs guy, first and foremost. He also shares the same agent as Deuce McBride and Taj Gibson and Gordon Hayward, another potential buyout candidate. Mark Bartelstein of Priority Sports represents Kyle Lowry, right? If Kyle wants to play for a winning team, he's going to have to negotiate a buyout, right? Or he's going to have to rot on the Charlotte Hornets, right? Kyle Lowry's not at that stage of his career where he wants to, I don't think, sit on the couch during the playoffs. So I think there'll be a trade or he'll get bought out. But we'll wait and see, fam, right? As we'll chop that up a bit more. But he's obviously looking at, he's a Philly native. He might want to go to Philly as well. I could see that as a big possibility, guys, with Kyle Lowry. But the Knicks have other ideas as well. We're trying to go for Murray. We're trying to go for Brogdon as well. And I think we can be damn scary if we get any of these guys. Think about the hustle and the bench unit, but with a little bit more offense and creativity sprinkled in, or a huge upgrade to the starting five in the 2 spot with another playmaker as well with DeJounte. That's going to be fire, right? So continue to let us know your thoughts as we round out the final grades. We're going to give some love to Precious Achiuwa, right? We're giving Deuce McBride, Hart, and Grimes some love. Now it's up to Precious Achiuwa, who had his biggest game as a New York Knick in the last game against his former team, the Raptors. Precious Achiuwa was big in some spots tonight, got us 9 rebounds, and 4 of them were offensive. He was a plus 13 team high, 6 points, right? 2 assists, had a nice slam finish, courtesy of Drew Randall on that fast break. And I think, Precious Achiuwa is starting to look better as a Knick, right? As each game goes by, he's starting to look more comfortable. And that makes sense because you're in a new playbook, new city, new team. It takes some time to figure out, where you can get your spots, how you can help the team. He's struggled a little bit finishing. That was one of my big concerns. He dropped a couple of passes recently, but tonight he was solid. He caught the dish from Randall, finished in traffic for the huge slam. 3 of 6 tonight. He took a 3-pointer, which, I don't feel too one way or the other about. He was wide open, but preferably not. In a close game. But he was solid outside of that tonight. So 4 offensive boards was absolutely huge for me. And I think he might be in a trade, he might not. Just like Quentin Grimes, he might be a dude who is in the package, but if the other team has no use, Precious could stay maybe as and vie for the third backup. If we do make an upgrade, assuming we do, I think we should still. Now, if Precious has another 2, 3, 4 outstanding games in a row, then I might start to think maybe we could do with Sims and Achiwa. But realistically, if we have high hopes of going deep in the playoffs, we do need more size. I just think, I think we need more size, fam. Michael says, CT, I like Lowry more than Brogdon. Looks, Lowry comes with that defense. He comes with the experience deep into the playoffs. But for me, it would need to be a buyout, fam, or a very, very cheap trade. The unfortunate thing is, Lowry's making, 20-something milli. So we can't get that deal done without including Evan Fournier. So, and that would mean we can't use Evan Fournier for a Bruce Brown or for a DeJounte deal in the future as well. Will says, on a buyout, oh yeah, he was critical against us in the playoffs. Yep. You're going to get that extra 5%, 10% too if he's playing for Tom Thibodeau in the playoffs. Just like Eric Spoelstra, fam, was able to squeeze that little bit more out of Kyle Lowry too. I think playing for a Tibbs team, I think we're going to get a little bit more out of Kyle Lowry too. Maybe one last dance in the playoffs too. Of course, he's a Villanova guy. I think, honestly, if he's bought out, it's tough to say whether the Lakers or the Nuggets or someone would, a real contender out in the West is gonna go for him. But if his preference is to stay close to home, be near Philly, play in New York, I think we have a great chance. But yeah, low key, Salute says, peace. You think Bridges is going to be available this off season? I think he will for the right price, but that price is very, very steep, fam. The Brooklyn Nets ain't giving Mikal Bridges away for anything less than at least 4 unprotecteds, fam. 4 or 5 and maybe a young piece. Future swaps. I think no one's really, a guy like Bridges ain't a superstar, so I think he's always gettable. But they're going to make you bleed if for any team that gets Mikal, because he's the centerpiece for the Nets rebuild, right? They're not selling tickets really without Mikal Bridges, right? They're already struggling filling the arena, but if you're only got Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson, Lonnie Walker, Dennis Smith Jr., and Nick Claxton, you're not selling many tickets without Mikal. So I think, in the future, he might want to link up with Brunson for real. Like it might not happen, in this summer coming up. But I think, maybe once Mikal Bridges is a free agent, it might happen. Might happen down the stretch at some point. But yeah, man, with Precious stepping up in a big way, I'm going to give him a B+ for tonight's effort. Huge on the glass, helped us draw a foul as well. That was critical late. Positioning seems to be improving a little bit more, but he did get abused a little bit in the first half too. Royce O'Neal put him on a highlight reel with that, with his back down as well. He basically drove him into the hardwood, fam. But yeah, I'm cool with Precious sticking as an emergency backup. But I do think we need to make another upgrade on Precious moving forward too, fam. I just think we're going to come up against a lot of good backups. Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez. We've got a lot of bigs. We saw what Joel Embiid did, fam, last night, which now opens things up in a big way. As we look at the road now, we got off day Wednesday, then 2 two more games at home, right? Denver, we were, undefeated against last season. That's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to seeing how we stack up, against a Denver Nuggets. Um, like tonight's not really making me feel any less confident because, we play to the matchups. Brooklyn have good length, and they're unpredictable, right? We were just asleep defensively in that first half. But a team like Denver, we're going to get up for. We know they're the reigning champs, and we're going to be able to continue this wave and also make another statement around the East as well. So I think we could have a real shot at winning. And then the Miami Heat come into the building, fam, with Terry Rozier, the new acquisition, and the old faces, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, except with Tyler Hero now as well, with no Kyle Lowry. So two huge games that's going to set up, it's still early, but kind of set up where we could reach this season, the heights of the season. We're really on a plus 50 win pace, right? If we can run through Denver and we can run through Miami with Charlotte and Utah on the other side, look out. And on that note, we're going to start to look at around the league now as I pull up the standings. And we're going to look at where Cleveland are at, where the Knicks sit, and the action around the league tonight as the Knicks won on TNT. And I let the NBA world know that Jalen Brunson is a 1A. Julius Randle can be a 1A on any night. Those guys work together, and we can beat anybody, right? Now we get another piece. We get OG Anunoby, and those two some more help. And man, best believe that it's going to be scary for the rest of the league. Now let's bring this thing up. As the Knicks move to half a game off fourth spot, right? But the Cavs didn't play tonight. They've still got 2 games in hand. Like I said, 3 games in hand now. 26 and 15. They're 6.5 back of the first seed. The New York Knicks are 7 back of the first seed at 27 and 17. Right? So effectively, if the Cavs lose 2 out of their next 3, we're basically in the 4th seed. So we don't know. I do know who they're going to play. They're going to play the Bucks away. Then they play the Bucks away again. And then they play the Clippers at home. So 3 tough games for the Cavaliers coming up. Too, fan. That's going to let us know how for real they are. They're getting great production from some role guys. Sam Merrill is a 3-point sniper out there. They're without Garland, without Mobley still. And Donovan Mitchell he's been an absolute all-star, superstar for them, holding them down. But the New York Knicks are coming. So I think the Knicks will eventually surpass the Cavs. I think obviously we're in a better position to make a bigger upgrade as well. Whereas the Cavs, they don't really have the pieces. They've already got their starting 5 solidified as well. But I think the New York Knicks are going serious shopping for a Murray Brogdon, like maybe a buyout guy like a Lowry, Hayward. Jordan Clarkson is a name the Knicks have discussed as well. And I see you chat as you continue your buzz. I'll say I think a lot of fans are feeling very optimistic. They're very excited. The possibilities that the Knicks can do this season, I think 3rd seed is a realistic possibility. But we know from last year, the playoffs is what it is all about, right? Build this roster for the playoffs, right? Get another big, solid rebounding guy, a big man. Get more scoring and shot creation from the bench so that we don't have to worry so much when those other guys are down. And then maybe ideally get another starting complementary player if it doesn't cost too much. And then I think we're cooking, man. I think we're set for a deep playoff run. Obviously depends on how much Brunson can deliver with, being triple, double teamed night to night. Julius Randle, decision making is going to be key. Tom Thibodeau. But the more help we give these guys, the better shot we have. And I think we can absolutely take the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers. We could take them deep, right? We can beat them. We can take them 7. We know the playoffs is big for other teams' defense intensity. That's going to go up. That's going to go up another level. The Knicks need to acknowledge that last year, we underplayed the Heat, and their ability to take their defense to another level. But I think this year the difference is going to be the Knicks have experience now, right? We're seeing it. These guys have seen it. Julius Randle has been to the playoffs now twice, right? If he's not better the third time around, it's never going to be better. It's now's the time, to read the defense, move the ball. Jalen Brunson as well. He's seen a lot of traps, double teams from the Miami Heat, and now we have an OG Anunoby, we have a DiVincenzo, maybe DeJounte Murray, and then we're going to be tough for defenses to really to trap, to double, and if they do want to do that, then I suspect that we'll be ready to move the ball. We've got corner shooters now, shooting above 50%. We've got switchability with OG, who could guard 1 through 5. We just need to make another couple nice moves. I think that obviously the talk is they're saving the majority of their draft picks for the summer, whether that's Donovan, who might ask out, who is available, whether it's maybe Devin Booker, who might, change his mind on the whole Phoenix thing. Maybe it will be Karl Anthony Towns, who, might be on the block after the T-Wolves don't get it done, maybe. Whatever player it might be, I think it's going to be a case of Leon is going to make a solid upgrade, but I think he's going to make sure that he's got an expiring contract still available, whether it's Bruce Brown or Evan Fournier. I think one of those two is still going to be on the roster because the Knicks don't have any other salary to trade, right? It's critical that they have an expiring or a sizable salary to be able to move in the summer. So they have the choice. They could either keep Fournier and pick up his option and then deal him in another deal, or they could get this Bruce Brown deal done and have Bruce Brown's potential team option expiring deal as well. Now, I know that's a lot to unpack, guys. Things change daily. Things are moving at a quick speed. Don't be played by a lot of the various reports. When a deal's ready to be done, you'll hear from a Woj, from a Shams, from an Ian Begley, from a Fred Katz, from a Steve Popper, from the New York guys, and obviously some of the bigger national market, Woj, Brian Windhorst, etc. But yeah, everything seems to align and match up when it comes to what Ian Begley's saying and what the word is, that the Knicks are really looking at Bruce Brown and Alec Burks in separate deals. Obviously, Alec Burks out in Detroit. I would have no issues with getting Alec Burks back if he plays the backup too. I have questions over him being a backup 1. We've seen that, before. He can't really run the offense in the playoffs. But yeah, as a solid stretch, a shooter, a guy who can create secondary dribble action, and can score. This is a guy who's still scoring 30 a game for Detroit. So if we could get him for a second round pick, maybe a couple seconds at the most, I would be open to that. If we can get Bruce Brown, I know it's not the best fit right now. Bruce Brown is a guy who is another energy glue guy, but can put the ball on the floor a little bit, can be a hustle player, can score some as well. Ideally, not the level of a Burks or a Murray or a Brogdon, uh, but contractually he makes a lot of sense as well. So yeah, it's really interesting to see what Leon's going to do. I think a Bruce Brown trade, won't necessarily mean that he's not going to get more pieces. I think if he does get Bruce Brown, it's critical that he gets another point guard as well who can score, create, or another shot creator with Bruce Brown. I don't think Bruce Brown is the best fit for spacing, um, but obviously it comes down to what is available for the right price. Whatever happens, I don't see Leon trading any more than two firsts. Um, if the asking price for DeJounte Murray is 3 firsts, and Quentin Grimes and Evan Fournier, that's what we're hearing, that the Knicks and Leon Rose find that a little bit too steep, right? Which I can understand. They want to make sure they have as many draft picks as possible. But 2 picks, maybe a pick swap, Grimes, Fournier. It's a plus acquisition, getting rid of Evan in a second. Nick Yak says Fournier will cost us $9 million towards the cap. Cutting him next year, it's a buyout, not expiring. Yep. So yeah, either way, I think we're still got an option to keep Evan, and I still think we could move him in a future trade as well. But if I have to guess which way Leon's going to go, I think there's a lot of smoke to the Bruce Brown thing. Ian Begley's clued in. He keeps hearing that name again and again. I tweeted this out as well, that the Knicks and Bruce Brown met in free agency. They were the first meeting. Obviously, the Knicks had money to spend, the mid-level. Bruce Brown heard the Knicks out, kept it moving, listened to some other teams. And then when it became clear that the Pacers were going to give, 22 million, 25 million, it was a no-brainer for Bruce Brown. And then we pivoted and we got DiVincenzo done. But the interesting point is obviously the interest. Bruce Brown, the Knicks, he made some quotes about Tibbs. I think, there's a hell of a lot of smoke to that, fam. There's also a lot of smoke to, Malcolm Brogdon, too. So that's going to be, something to watch too. Might be had on the cheap, a second round pick, Evan, Grimes, maybe a heavily protected pick, Evan, maybe gets that done, and then we use Grimes in another deal. I think it's all going to come down to, okay, how can we achieve what we needed to achieve by bolstering the talent in the bench for the best possible price, right? Right. We got our superstars. We've got our studs heading into the playoffs this season, and we know the summer's coming up, and we've got a war chest of picks. But how can we improve the bench and the versatility of this current year's team for the best possible price, I think? So yeah, you're going to continue to hear multiple names. Also, don't forget about the buyout market as well. There is going to be a lot of good players, such as a Kyle Lowry, a Gordon Hayward, possible buyouts for quality players that that can help a good team. So, with that said, guys, let's look at the games that played out tonight, and we'll continue to celebrate this big win as the Knicks run New York. Right. Let's see. As I said, the Cavs, they played in Paris, so that, the league has given the Cavs a very friendly schedule, returning from overseas. So we'll have to wait for the Cavs to play, 3 games in hand, and then we'll see whether the Knicks are really in the 4th seed or not. But of course, we have Denver, we have the Heat coming up. I think if we split the next 2, I'll be okay with that, right? Admirable loss to the Nuggets. Jokic goes off, All-Star, All-NBA. MVP. And then if we can beat the Miami Heat, that's the most important thing to me. The Miami Heat will come up in the tiebreaker later, potentially. And we know the Denver Nuggets, they're out west, right? That doesn't matter so much to man. So, yeah, salute chat, salute Knicks Nation, and salute Replay Squad. We're buzzing tonight, and we're about to look at the action. I already see some good things. I see the Lakers about to lose, potentially. I see the Indiana Pacers took a loss. So the Nuggets are on the East Coast right now, headed for New York after this. I love the sight of the New York Knicks. Thrilling come-from-behind victory, 10 games over. And we saw the Portland Trailblazers, who are playing better ball now, give it to the Thunder, although they went down. We saw another glorified pickup game where the Pelicans put up 153. Absolutely disgusting, man. Where is the defense gone, guys, man? Yesterday sickened me seeing Joel Embiid shoot 23 free throws, man. I know the casuals and the fans that love offense, and fans that love Embiid don't have any problem with it. I had a problem with that yesterday. The Spurs, I know 70 points is 70 points, right? I'm not trying to take that away from a dude. It's already in the books. But man, my God, can someone play some proper defense? Or can the officials not call every single foul on Joel Embiid, man? But yeah, tonight, man, we saw Cat, of course, score 62 with a loss. You can't make this stuff up, man. And then, tonight the Pelicans pulled off basically a 30-point win. So the Jazz, man, imagine this. Imagine saying you scored 124 and you still lost by 30. Man, crazy. What's good, Stanley? Gordon Hayward hasn't played for 2 months. He and Lowry should be buyout candidates. Yeah, they should be. But what the Hornets are trying to do, they're trying to create a smoke screen and see if there can be a market for Lowry, which is basically a second round pick. I mean, if there's a team that's willing to give them, because the main headline is that the Hornets now are willing to take on big salary for draft compensation purposes because they have salary cap space now. So they can actually afford to wait to see at the very last minute if a team will give Lowry a second round pick for taking on Lowry for another bad salary. I don't see anyone really doing it. I don't know. I see a buyout. I agree with you. Will says, I understand the cap situation, but I just can't imagine us picking up Evans' option in any scenario. Yeah, I feel you. I agree. I think that's less likely. I think a Bruce Brown deal gives the Knicks what they want financially, and with a little bit of good play. Obviously, Bruce Brown's a heck of a player, right? I understand the hesitancy from Knicks fans, thinking that Bruce Brown might be the big upgrade this offseason, this deadline. Yeah, everything needs to be taken into context. It's not the big upgrade. It's a player that can help them financially, that can give them a little bit of help, off the bench, is a two-way player, and another player you can flip in the summer who has value, right? Talking about a Cat, a future Booker, a future Spider Mitchell deal, it helps that you can send the other team a player like Bruce Brown instead of Evan Fournier, right? People look at Evan Fournier as just salary filler. Whereas if you're a rebuilding team, or you're a team like the Cavs losing Mitchell, or you're a team like Phoenix losing Booker, if you're getting a player like Bruce Brown back with boatloads of draft picks and a young player, that is more feasible, I think. So yeah, Bruce Brown, it makes sense for some many reasons. My main thing is, what else? Like, okay, what else are they gonna get? You know, if it's Bruce Brown, you get Lowry on a buyout, or Hayward. You get an AJ Griffin from the Hawks with Patty Mills. Then you're cooking. Then you're really starting to give the bench some options. So yeah. Michael says, I'm scared we may miss out on Donovan Mitchell because the Lakers are looking at him. The Lakers are always in the news, fam, but you know what? They don't have the assets the Knicks do, and they're not New York. I think Donovan Mitchell been all over the United States of America, except his hometown, right? He's been all the way to Salt Lake City, then all the way to Cleveland, Ohio. The man just wants to go back to New York City now, I think, and finish his career close to home, right? He's a family guy. Father with the Mets. He's close to his mums. Yeah, I don't see Donovan Mitchell. If his fate is in his own hand when he becomes a unrestricted free agent, I think it's the New York Knicks, baby. Brooklyn, I think they need to do a hell of a lot more to appeal to a Donovan Mitchell, right? He's already been to a couple of teams that fell short. If it comes down to New York, the city, and a Knicks team that's close to contending, or the Brooklyn Nets who need another piece and another 5 years, I think he's definitely the leverage, the everything is in the favor of the New York Knicks. I think when it comes to Donovan Mitchell, just like the Pacers got leverage with Pascal Siakam. You see, Pascal Siakam agreed to be traded to the Indiana Pacers because he was going to sign an extension. But you saw the Heats, you saw these other teams interested that couldn't get a deal done because he some of these other teams, he didn't want to sign an extension. So I think, look out too. Yeah, I feel you, Michael. Yeah, as a fan coming up in the '90s, the '80s, the hard nosed players, taking hits. The league's going in another direction now, man. They want offense, right? Defense, you breathe on a guy, and it's a foul, right? All you can do is contest, vertical, stand there as like a mannequin with your hand up and hope that the player misses, man. But yeah, I think the best way to play defense now is mentally, right? Be switched on, get in the passing lane, rotate, switch quicker, read the play. That's the best way to play good defense. It's not always about physicality now, because you be physical, you're going to send Joel Embiid to the free throw line for 23 times, man. That's just ridiculous, man. But yeah, Stanley, I agree. Yeah, I'm looking at the Knicks' interest in AJ Griffin, and I'm looking like another buyout candidate like Patty Mills, who has been out of the rotation recently. Now, he was playing recently due to an injury, but I think the Hawks would definitely be okay to include him in a deal for Quentin Grimes, right? But yeah, man, the Rockets, the Jazz, the Hawks, and the Memphis Grizzlies are all interested in Quentin Grimes. I think that list is growing, fam. The NBA got scouts all over the league. Tonight, TNT, national televised game. People would have been, checking in to see how Grimes is doing. He's one of the few guys who's actually playing, heavy minutes or decent minutes. That's a real high possibility of getting traded. Now that Terry Rozier is off the board, we go down the list. I think Quentin Grimes is a hot name. Maybe we can use that to get the best possible deal, get some leverage. Maybe a Grimes is what can get a DeJounte Murray deal done over the line. When you talk about first round draft picks and you talk about Evans expiring, you maybe talk about Yeah, another second rounder. We have the Jazz second round pick this year, which is going to be a good second round pick. Um, we can cook, right? So yeah, I'm looking at the next week is going to be a big week. Denver, Miami, and then Charlotte away, Utah at home, and then I think by the end of the month we might have a trade. We might realistically get a trade before the deadline. Now, if sides can agree to a proper deal, fam, but we wait to see what happens now that this big deal's been done with Lowry and Terry Rozier with the Heat. Does it make the Heat any more formidable? I don't see it. I think Lowry did give them a little bit of offense. I think Terry Rozier can maybe give them a little bit more. Younger legs, shot creation. But when we talk about the standings and the East, I don't see the Heat really moving too much, fam. The Heat they're right behind us, but 2.5 back now. As the Knicks will be looking up. I don't see us going back down from here. I think we're only going to make upgrades, right? The Pacers took a big loss tonight. There's 3-game separation now between the Knicks and the Pacers with the play-in spot, and we're firmly in the playoff look now. Hopefully, climb and catch the Sixers, man. And with that said, we're only 3.5 back. We're only 3.5 back of the Bucks, really, in the second seed. So I'm not trying to plant no seeds. Not trying to say it's possibility, but 3.5 back of the second seed right now. The Milwaukee Bucks, man, push the reset or push the emergency button and fired a first-year head coach, AJ Griffin's dad, man, Adrian Griffin Sr. He's a Tibbs guy. Does Tibbs reach out and give him a coaching job? What would you guys do, man, if Tibbs welcomed Adrian Griffin Sr. onto the staff, right? Could that be some shady, not shady, but could that be some game-changing move right there to give the New York Knicks some intel on the Milwaukee Bucks, man? Imagine if Tom Thibodeau gets AJ Griffin onto the Knicks staff for the rest of the season, right? Could that give us a little bit of an edge over the Bucks, man? Stanley says, I'd rather have Taj on the Knicks coaching staff. Yeah, I feel you. Taj will be a part of the staff, I think, at some point, maybe next season. He worked really well with Mitch. Got to give love to Taj. He helped Mitch grow his game defensively, positioning. Mitch basically, people don't talk about it very much, but Mitch went from being a foul-prone, always out of position, kind of inconsistent kind of player to then, dominant defensively, rarely out of position, out of foul trouble, all of that. Obviously, the coaching staff did a great job. We had Kenny Payne, and we had Taj as well. See, I think Taj has got a very bright future ahead as a assistant coach as well one day. Jarvis LaFleur is in the building. How you been, fam? Salute. Where's 10 games over? Are you feeling any more confident heading into the playoffs this season with the roster we have, with the options available? I do. I really do. I feel, let's say if it's out of 10, I feel maybe we were a 7 before the OG trade in terms of confidence in the playoffs. It's at an 8 right now. If we make another huge bench move, starting 5 upgrade, it's going to go to a 8.5, 9. I just really think the East is open, right? When you look at it, we've done such a tough schedule. We've done heavy lifting. The Knicks are yet to peak, I feel. OG's only been here for 12 games. You know, Randall obviously is, finding his game around OG. He's distributing more. Brunson's 3-point shooting this year has gone to another level. I think in the playoffs, we're definitely going to be tougher to beat, but it's going to come down to execution. I mentioned before, they're going to trap Jalen Brunson. They're not going to let Jalen Brunson do what he did in the playoffs last year. Yeah, well, maybe in games 5, 6, and 7, maybe early in a series they might sit back a little, let Brunson go to work a little. But I do think as we get closer to elimination games, that they're going to trap Brunson, and and we know with that, it's going to come down to execution, decision making, implementing of the offense, reading and reacting, all of that. And Mitch is a wild card. I know a lot of people live in the current. Some people prisoner of the moment. I get it. We're excited, but best believe me when I say we are not a better team with Mitchell Robinson out and Isaiah Hartenstein starting. Right now, we can be a better team with Mitch maybe coming off the bench, Isaiah Hartenstein starting, or with Mitch starting and Isaiah Hartenstein coming off the bench. But we're a better team with Mitchell Robinson healthy, right? So I don't care if it's starting off the bench. If Mitch gets back before the playoffs, or by the middle of the playoffs somehow, man, talk about defense, fam. You'll be hearing that Garden chanting defense. Now, Stanley, on iHeart's injury, it's nothing serious. I haven't heard anything serious reported that it's an Achilles tear. I think it's minor. But maybe the Knicks. The Knicks have been secretive about injuries before. We knock on wood, fam. Let's hope. Let's hope that's nothing. Too serious, fam. But yeah, guys, the Knicks. We own the city. We own the East soon. Philly. I think we got a great matchup against Embiid. We saw OG Anunoby who could check Embiid some. We have a guy who can help slow down Giannis with the Bucks, with OG as well. DiVincenzo spacing the floor at a great level now. You can't leave Brunson or Randall, right? You have to pick your poison, literally. So yeah, that's why my confidence has moved up to an 8 in terms of the Knicks and the playoffs, right? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Some people, feel quietly optimistic. Obviously, you never know what you're going to get with Randall in the playoffs. But after the OG trade and the, what the stats, tell us right now, with the defense, and what we're getting, right? It's next level stuff. Since the OG trade, the Knicks are basically number 1 in holding opponents' points, number 1 in rebounding still. We're second with an asterisk in net rating and defensive rating after 11 games since the trade. There's the asterisk because the Cleveland Cavaliers in first have only played 9 games due to the overseas travel. So the Cleveland Cavaliers have 3 games to play on the Knicks. So it's a little tough to interpret. Basically, I look at the Knicks as the best in the league right now in net rating, defensive rating, since the trade, man. And the the graphic says it here. In the standings, we're the hottest team in the league. In these 12 games since the new year, 2024, the Knicks are number 1 in the NBA. Right, we've won more games than the Bucks, the Celtics, the Cavs, the Clippers, the Suns, the Jazz, the Nuggets, whoever you want to name. The Knicks have won more games in the new year. So if we continue on this pace and we continue to beat the bad teams we need to beat, and we can pull out wins against like the Nuggets, the Heat, and those 50-50 games, then yeah, man, look out. Look out. Buzzer, what's good, says Miami getting Rozier makes them dangerous. Rozier is an inconsistent kind of player. On his day, he gives them another avenue. He gives them a look. Lineups with Jimmy next to Hero, Bam Adebayo, and that Yarquez. Yeah, that's a good unit. And yeah, even before Rozier, you never count out the Heat. Like I said, with the playoffs, they can go to another level. Which is, their star is Eric Spoelstra, really. He puts their guys in position to succeed. But another cheeky pickup to get a Kyle Lowry could be, not only play but intel, right? What a way to stick it to the Miami Heat if the New York Knicks and the Villanova gang was to get Kyle Lowry on a buyout, man, for free, right? He brings playoff hustle, defense, smarts, intensity, and he brings Miami Heat intel straight from Eric Spoelstra's brain, straight to the New York Knicks as well. That's another low-key pickup as well. And maybe look out for an NBA team to add Adrian Griffin to their staff as an assistant coach, right? That'd be a chess move, man. If Tibbs put in the call, I think they got AJ Griffin, right? We got Jalen Brunson's father, and we got Jalen Brunson. We get AJ Griffin Jr. from the Atlanta Hawks, and we get AJ Griffin's father as well as an assistant. Mike says, what's up? Mitch and OG roaming around could cause serious trouble. Yeah, for real. Yep, you know it. Yep, salute. See, Hartenstein gives you smarts, he gives you hustle, he gives you skill set offensively with passing, cutting, and a better floater game, better offensive touch. But make no mistake, Mitchell Robinson's offensive rebounding, and rim protection is on another level, right? There's a gap, right? Maybe overall, iHeart's play when you factor in the cutting, the passing, the smarts, offensive touch with Mitch's limitations, you get a similar level guy. But in the playoffs, rebounding and rim protection, there's no one in the league like Mitchell Robinson. No one. The guy's got the length. He's 7'1". He's a mountain, right? Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley could not move him. He gave Bam Adebayo some troubles as well. So, yeah, if I had a choice, it's no question. Get me Mitch back ASAP. Now, we're going to know soon because the good thing is he's going to get evaluated, right? It ain't going to be like, we get to the playoffs and we're going to be like, is Mitch going to be able to come back? We're going to know ahead of time. We're going to know, in 4 weeks at least, we're going to know, okay, how is the rehabilitation tracking? How is he looking? Is he starting to run the court yet? Is he doing drills? All of that. So that's going to be good. We're going to get a a nice head start too, fam. Yep. Will says that is certainly Tibbs' style. Yeah, you know it, fam. Although, Tibbs adding more cooks to the kitchen, that might be less likely. We'll wait and see. But look, the big thing is we have our coach on the court too, Jalen Brunson. Assist game going to new levels. 3-point shooting game, fam, is going to new levels. And Randall's passing too. So I shout out. We had 21 assists tonight, right? 7 came from Randall, and 4 came from Jalen Brunson. So that's good. 2 of your best players are 2 of the highest assisters. Um, so yeah, that's what you want, right? Um, in terms of a convo about do these guys make other teammates better? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had Toronto people tell me that yeah, OG looks much better with the Knicks. Like, obviously we have better, talent that takes attention away. OG can kind of fit under the radar a little bit, cut, find his shots. But that's because, yeah, those Randall and Brunson are making him look better. Um, you know, Dante DiVincenzo, right? He's having a career year. Once he came into the starting lineup with Jalen Brunson, with Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo is playing the best basketball of his career, right? So that's another example. Randle and Brunson are making their teammates better. Um, Josh Hart, when he became a New York Knick last year, right, and before he got the bag, he was playing at an absolute highest level, right? The NBA was like, okay, the Knicks may have got the best role player in the NBA right now. He was rebounding at a crazy record. He was shooting threes. He was playing huge minutes. But Josh Hart was playing the best ball of his career when he became a Knick as well. Um, Now the only opposite tale is Quentin Grimes. His game, due to a lack of touches and a decline in confidence, his game has regressed a bit. But his game, along with RJ, their style of games to thrive need more looks. They need the ball. So I get it. Whereas DiVincenzo is a perfect player off ball. Josh Hart's off ball perfect. OG's off ball perfect as well. So I could see what Leon's doing. Really, bringing in guys that play both sides, that play well without the ball, that fit the two players that we have that are best with the ball. Um, and that's it. That's it basically. Now Jarvis says, CT, I won't underestimate any team. However, there seems to be a problem with the Bucks' perimeter defense. Elite guard play is their kryptonite. Absolutely, man. You're on fire, Jarvis. Yep, I agree. 1000%. You saw the Pacers light them up, before in the in-season tournament. Bigger guards, fast pace. Yeah, you said it. Defensively, they've got some worries, and I think an aging Brook Lopez might be falling under the radar a little bit. When people think of the Bucks championship years, they think of a good Chris Middleton. They think of a good Brook Lopez, but people aren't really thinking about this is 2-3 years down the line now. Bobby Portis. Now, there's no question marks over Dame and Giannis, but there's hella question marks over these other guys. Are they still as good as what they were? I don't think they are. They've lost a step. A little bit. Of course, with Philly, they've lost a little bit with James Harden. And we need to recognize, right? I'm not going to give Harden props, but I'm going to recognize that there was a lot of early overreactions. The Clippers are a better team since getting Harden. The Sixers still look suspect. They still need a third guy. We saw when we turned the water off Maxey or Embiid, they had nobody, and the Knicks blew them out by 36 points in their building. And yeah, that just shows that the Sixers need more help. They missed out on Siakam. I don't know what kind of assets they've got. They've got expiring Tobias Harris, but if they don't get offensive help, they're going to be another first, second round exit. Best believe that, right? I don't think Embiid, when it comes to the playoffs on bad knees, can carry them. I don't think he can carry them for 7 games on those knees, right? The guy might miss out on the MVP due to not playing the requisite amount of games, right? I don't know if I can trust that in the playoffs. And Tyrese Maxey, without Joel Embiid, they got no shot in the playoffs, I think. So I think the Sixers are suspect, right? They need a DeJounte Murray probably more than anybody. And I'll be interested to see how aggressive the Philadelphia 76ers are going to be and what packages they've got to offer, because we're not really hearing their name much in trade talks. They didn't have enough package to beat Indiana by getting Siakam, right? I think Philly was a location that Siakam would have signed off on as a contract extension, but Philly just couldn't outbid Indiana, right? So the ball's in their court right now. The Knicks are making upgrades. The Heat are making upgrades. The Cleveland Cavaliers are about to get Darius Garland and Evan Mobley back, and they're playing at a number one level in the NBA in the new year as well. All of those three teams have upside. I don't see the upside with Philly. I just don't. I know they've got, one thing they do got is they've got the MVP, right? I'm not downplaying that. I think when Maxey's playing at the best level with Embiid, you see why they're in the third seed right now. My point is, I think I question, how they're going to go in the playoffs, and can they sustain, what they're doing right now? Because as I alluded to earlier, man, that's going under the radar. The New York Knicks are basically 3 games back of Philly in the third seed, right? That 3 games is so close, man. If the Knicks never lost that game to the Magic, where we didn't have Jalen Brunson, if the Knicks never lost that game in Dallas without Luka, we'd be in the third seed right now. So, and we're making upgrades, and we're playing, at a NBA top clip now since the new year. So, I think we might overrun the Sixers. If they don't make a move, I think they might be in trouble, fam. Yep, Knicks 26 champs in the building says if Sixers don't get DeJounte, they're screwed. Yep. If the Sixers lose out to the Lakers for Murray, Daryl Morey needs to go. Look, man, the Philly fans are going to be irate. And I guess the lipstick that's masking the issue right now is, they've got 2 great pieces. Tyrese Maxey and Embiid are great pieces, but Tobias Harris, I know he could be okay, he could be solid, but they need more. I think if the Knicks bolster their bench, look out. I mean, it was a budding joke, man, when the Knicks blew out the Sixers by 36, mind you. We had Philadelphia fans saying they were undermanned because DeAnthony Melton was out. Give us a break, man. DeAnthony Melton, right? We blew them out by 36. And they had the audacity to say that they were undermanned because DeAnthony Melton was out. Man, if DeAnthony Melton means that much to Philly, then they're screwed, right? And that's no shot at DeAnthony Melton, right? The Knicks were literally down Mitchell Robinson. I think we had another guy out that night as well. Excuses, man. We'll see, man. Obviously, Embiid, 70-piece. He had a rookie, Wembanyama, guarding him. He had the NBA officials giving him 23 free throws. Whatever it is, 70 points in the league, right? I mean, we saw tonight, man. We saw the Utah Jazz score 124 and still lose by 30 to the Pelicans, who put up 150 something. I mean, scoring's for everyone, man. Yeah, Jarvis. I'm also grateful the Sixers didn't get OG as well. But yeah, we handled our business. We had the picks, we had the pieces. A lot of people didn't want to think about this at the time, and I get it. Some fans don't want to look too far ahead. But when the New York Knicks missed out on Donovan Mitchell last summer, and the contract situation with RJ Barrett came up to a head, and Leon Rose gave RJ Barrett the money, there were a lot of people that said RJ Barrett got the money, right? Because Leon Rose had to, he's an asset still. He's an asset that, Leon had to give RJ the contract. But some people took it different ways. Some people thought, oh yeah, RJ Barrett's here for the future. He's, the Knicks are investing in him. Some people looked at it like the Knicks gave RJ Barrett that contract to send out, in the future, to send out as salary moving ahead, right? And that's exactly what happened, right? RJ Barrett wasn't a Leon Rose draft pick. They had the PR. They missed out on Donovan Mitchell. It was a no-brainer. They had to give RJ Barrett a contract. But yeah, it's interesting how people interpreted it at the time. You don't always think of the moves in the now is just because they're gonna invest in a certain player. It's sometimes for a future transaction as well. So that's why the Knicks are looking at a Bruce Brown type thing as well. He's far more valuable in a future superstar deal than an Evan Fournier, right? Of course, Bruce Brown, he has a championship ring. He's a two-way player as well, and he's younger as well. So I think, if there's one prediction I'm going to make, I think look out for the Bruce Brown thing. Look out for the Alec Burks thing, if he can be had for cheap. And then I think the less likely, but still possible, but less likely, is Malcolm Brogdon, DeJounte Murray. But we'll wait and see. I think Brogdon's more likely of the two. I think Portland, they're rebuilding. It's not going to cost us too many picks. But I think that, DeJounte Murray is the hot name, on the block right now. We have the Lakers. They might be able to offer D'Angelo Russell multiple picks. I don't know. Maybe the Sixers do need to pony up as well. But yeah, man, it's been a fun night chopping this thing up, right? But the next few are going to be even better as we take on the Denver Nuggets, right? The team that we swept last season. They'll be back for revenge, ladies and gentlemen. And then, we're going to get up for the Miami Heat New York Knicks rivalry. Is back on Saturday night this week. But we handled our business like the chat handled theirs tonight. Salute Knicks Nation. Orange and blue skies, man. As the Empire State Building is lit up. Orange and blue. That's what we do, fam. 10 games over 500 now. Right, number one in the standings in the new year around the NBA since the OG deal. And more ammunition ready to fire, ladies and gentlemen, right? Leon Rose might be in for Executive of the Year at this point, right? If the Knicks can get into that third seed and make noise, we might see some hardware on this screen soon, fam. Let's keep it rolling. Let's ride the wave. And I appreciate you for supporting, watching along, and Replay Squad salute. We'll be back post-game Thursday night, right? Big game. And I like our chances, fam. Salute. Have a great night, and I'll see you soon. Peace, Knicks Nation. Go New York, go.